Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's start our program with offering incense, ghee lamp and flowers to the Lordship. Over to Anup Prabhu. We have Anup Prabhu with us today with very beautiful altar. So let's start. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you are on mute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Anup, for this wonderful Aarti. Hare Krishna. And once again, I would like to welcome all the devotees for joining our Gita course. Thank you very much. So before proceeding ahead, let's offer our obeisances and seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and our Guru Parampara and their Lordships, Sri Radha Krishna and Panchatattva. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our discussion based on the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, with acknowledging the divine contribution of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So it's based on His teachings, based on His commentary, based on His life with His wonderful examples that He has shown us. We're just taking a drop of that learning, and we are just trying to share with our tiny capabilities. Yes, today we'll be discussing a very interesting topic. Do I need a guide in my life? But before proceeding ahead, definitely would love to hear your reflections from the last sessions. Anything that you remembered from last time, or last two sessions, I would say, where we talked about our third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We talked about karma. Anybody remembered the acronym that you used for third chapter and the laws of karma? Yes, we could not have our food for soul sessions where we could not maybe clarify some of your questions, but definitely we look forward to have those clarified in our upcoming Q&A sessions. Having said that, I thought like it was quite comprehensive, the way we discussed in terms of FAQs, frequently asked questions about the topics of karma. So anything that you remember? Yes. Ms. Sakshi is saying that laws of karma and how does karma affect people? Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes. So ignorance is no excuse. Thanks for reminding that. Sometimes we say that, okay, we don't know the intricacies of their life. Is it that we can be excused? No, not really. So that's the reason we have come here to learn. We are giving opportunity for everybody to learn. So yes. And yes, we talked about body. Because wherever we go, we cannot escape as long as we are in the material world from this body. What is that body? Birth, old age, disease, and yamraj. That is death. And somehow we have to come out of this cycle of karma and by performing akarma. So as long as we get entrenched ourselves in this bikarma, the sinful activities, or even sakarma, getting some piety as well, will be remaining in this material world, in this body. Yes, we talked about 4 pillars of dharma, how we should really avoid this meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, no intoxication. These are the very important topics that we discussed. And then yes, we talked about the good karmas, bad karmas. Yes, bad karmas, we are sowing the seed for like bitter seeds, and good karma means we are sowing the seeds of sweet seeds. But then yes, they really don't nullify each other. We really get the reactions for each of them. Yes, we talked about karma, bikarma, and akarma. Thank you. Yes, and yes, thanks for reminding that karma stays with us for many, many lifetimes. Most of the times we think that, okay, he's such a simple, humble, and he's such a good guy, but why a lot of bad things happen to him or her? But then we need to understand, or like especially why I'm going through it, though I'm doing all good work. Yes, it could be because of the past grains that we had harvested in our last year, that is there in that silo, and now we are trying to get it. But then the good grains that we have for this year, yes, that will come out in the next year. At the same time, we said if some bad grains coming out, we should have a hope that yes, it's just a matter of time. This bad grains, whatever is there, will really, be over, and this good grains is coming very soon. We should not be hopeless at that point of time. Yes, thank you very much. So yes, it's very important topic for us to really understand. And then we discussed about the acronym of three. Yes, Ms. K.I. is saying that yes, karma stays with us during 84 84 joni bolte hain na? Yes, you never know, when we are paying for our previous sins. Yes, and who is acting as an instrument of karma for us? So we cannot blame the instruments of karma. It could be anybody or anything. So one thing is that, right? Yes, we understand that somebody is really, or someone or something is really acting as instruments of karma for us, but we should try to avoid ourselves being the instrument of karma for somebody else. Because if you are doing something, means we are once again going into the cycle of that karma vikarma. Right? Yes, how we talked about that, how we should perform akarma to really come out of it. And then we talked about like this last but one session about the acronym of the third chapter called tree. We said how Arjuna wanted to leave everything and he wanted to go to forest or be a beggar. But then Lord said, no, you are a Kshatriya, your duty is to fight. So unless there is a purification of your heart, you cannot just renounce yourself. You should not be a mithyachara, you should not be a thief. Right? You should do your duty. And then we talked about different rungs of ladder, like animalistic life, and then sakam karma, niskam karma, and then how we progress in our spiritual realization. And then we talked about, yes, and this once we perform this next kam karma yoga, our heart also get purified, but still we have to do our duty. And Lord Krishna, he himself did those activity to set the example. So yes, we cannot leave our duty, we can abandon our duty, we cannot leave our responsibilities, we cannot run away from our responsibilities, whatever we have, because we might run away, but then we have to pay the price later. And the fourth topic we discussed is the enemy of the soul. Who is the enemy of the soul? Anybody remembers? Arjuna asks that, oh Krishna, why somebody is impelled to act sinful activities even if he doesn't want to do. What Krishna said? Anybody remembers? Why somebody is forced to act sinful activities even if he doesn't want? Kama esa krodha esa rojaguna samodbhava. Kama esa is the lust. Yes, thank you. Yes, it's the lust. It's our propensity to enjoy. And then that's how Lord summarizes or ends in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he talks about the enemy of the soul. That's the lust. And yes, and Lord also says to Arjuna, where does that lust reside? That he says in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where does that soul reside? And that soul resides in the senses, in the indriyas, in the mind, in the intelligence. And those are the strategic places where the enemy is residing. Because once you know the enemy, and you have to know also where exactly they are residing. And Krishna is saying that they reside in these strategic places of our body. What are they? All our senses, in our mind, in our intelligence. And you should be very careful. And you should now defeat those enemies with knowledge. And that's how he really moves into the next chapter called Transcendental Knowledge. And there, Krishna talks about how. Hey Krishna. Hare Krishna. Deepak Prabhu can get rid. So, okay, just a second. So here, Lord talks about that how the eternal education, the eternal education, that's a knowledge that Lord has given while during the beginning of the creation. Just like when there is a gazette, there is an electronic gazette, or once you're creating a project in the office, always at the end of the project, you create a user manual. Right. Similarly, because so that the users, they would find comfortable in really using them. Similarly, once Lord created the universe, He gave the purpose and the function of this universe. And then how He gave it, Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, in this couple of verses, that how Imam Rajar Sayavidu, like how he was giving this to Vivaswan, Vivaswan to Manu, Manu to Iksaku, and so on, how it was coming in parampara. But in the matter of time, that is now lost. And now once again, I am telling it to you. Sa eva yamaya tadde. So what has been really lost, because of the time, now I am telling you, because you are my friend and because you are my dear. Lord is saying that because, and that's what we always said in the beginning of the session, right? It's to understand Bhagavad Gita, nothing else is required, like no scholarly attributes, or not to have high birth, or born in a specific caste, or this or that. What is really required? A devotee, a devotional mood in our heart. Right? And once you have the desire to serve, then Lord will reveal the Bhagavad Gita. So that is very important. And then Lord says in this section that how sometimes to give that knowledge, He Himself comes. And that's where these beautiful verses that we always learn and always recite, thanks to Mr. B.R. Chopra, Mahabharata, right? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Right, like, and paritranaya sadhanam. Lord says that yes, whenever there is a decline of the religion, right, I appear to establish the religion. I appear to protect the sadhus, to annihilate the demons. Those are the beautiful verses spoken in this section. And then Lord says that yes, whoever knows my activities and my appearances, and they never come back. So this all being covered very beautifully in this section of Bhagavad Gita. And then he also clarifies some philosophical doubts, that okay, are there many gods, or are there only one God? Or of course we will be discussing in detail in our subsequent sections, but this is one of the topic and Lord is covering here. Lord is covering that okay, people talk about casteism, its nuances and so on, right? But then Lord defines what exactly is the caste system. Caste system is not because of by birth. It's caste is really, it has a purpose. It's based on the propensity of enjoyment. Lord has created some class for what? Based on their guna and karma, not by janma. Lord is clearly saying that Chaturvanya Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasa. It's not by birth somebody is really qualified as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, based on the activities that we do. And there are many more concepts, like how the realization of God also, right? Like when somebody says that, okay, there is no God, there is a light, or you are God, I am God. All these misconceptions are very nicely cleared, in these sections of Bhagavad Gita. And then as we move forward, and Lord talks about that how, once again, this concept of akarma, how through this proper knowledge, through this transcendental knowledge, all this karma and vikarma gets burnt out while performing this akarma. And that's how we can really remove all the reactions of our karma. All our karmic bank balance really gets clean, and then we are eligible to go back to Godhead. And then he talks about the sacrifice. For whatever we do, we have to pay a price. And what is the thing that we have to pay the price for us? Yes. What is the most difficult one? Yes, we have to approach the right person to understand this supreme knowledge. Okay, so that's what we call as ears. So if you want to see the God, not through the eyes, but we have to know the Lord through the ears. That's how our parampara is called Sruta Ikshita Pantha. What is called Sruta Ikshita Pantha? We have to understand, we have to realize the Lord through our ears, not through our eyes. So we cannot, yes, we are not that qualified to see the God eye to eye, but we can see the Lord, we can realize the God through our ears. That's why it is called Sruti. That's why it's called Sruta Ikshita Pantha. That's it's all our process all about. Okay, so now let's move forward. So here, as we said, like we will be talking about knowledge. So what do you think? What is knowledge? What is knowledge? Yes, we have so many knowledgeable persons here. And how do you, maybe we can keep it simple also. Right. What are the qualities of a person who has the knowledge? Like, yes, I may say Kai is saying that it's an expertise. How do you define knowledge? Either in our contemporary world, or what do you have? Like, now we say somebody is knowledgeable, somebody having a lot of wisdom, and somebody having some competency, somebody is having some strength of areas. Yes, somebody has some areas of interest. And what else do you say? If somebody is having knowledge means, how do you say that? Like, knowledge is something that we can learn and apply in our day-to-day life. Okay, yes, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yes, who knows the subject well, and the one who sees the pros and cons. Then we take in action. Yes, we really understand. Knowledge helps us in discriminating what is right and wrong. Thank you, Ms. Saxi. Yes, it's about knowing the subject well. Yes, yes. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, knowledge which we can apply in our growth, so that we not only go through our life, but we grow through our life. It's very important that as we really progress, how we are progressing. Very good, very good. Thank you. So let's see what our Shastra is saying. A knowledgeable person is one who does not show off their values. Very, very nice point. We'll talk about it. That how, like Miss Renu is saying that here, that how, like, while we grow the knowledge, we should not become intellectually fit person, but devotionally fit. Because, like, as we take the food, we nourish our body. But if you take a lot of junk food, or if you take more than required, which we can digest, then we go really fat, we go really obese. Similarly, right, we have to take the right knowledge from the right source with the right motive. Otherwise, we become proud. Our ego gets puffed up. So how we should be careful. Thank you, Ms. Renu there. Yes, this knowledge should really help others in all the situations. And knowledge always shares with others. Yes, once we have something, then definitely we should share with others. Thank you, Mrs. Siva. So, okay, now let's understand what exactly we hear from our sadhus. Is it really being a bookworm? Just getting obsessed with so many books? Okay, read as many as possible with an objective: earn money, and be wealthy, right? So that you can buy whatever you like. But especially we're very fortunate to have like a philosopher and a very nice person called Chanakya, right? We take a lot of input from him in our day-to-day life. Like he has given a very nice quote. Who is really a Pandita? Who is really knowledgeable? He said, Matravat paradhareshu paradravyesu lastravat atmavat sarvabhutesu yapasyati sa pandita. Anybody could understand the meaning of this verse? He's saying, Matravat paradhareshu. How we should look all the other women except our wife. Except our wife, we should look all other women as a matru, as a mother. Paradravyesu lastravat. How we should look everything which doesn't belong to us as a lostravat, as a stone, as a pearl. And atmavat sarvabhutesu. How we should look everybody like in the same way, like as we feel. And ya pasyanti sa pandita. Isn't it so wonderful? What is the quality of a pandita? What is the quality of a knowledgeable person? Do you think if a person really have these qualities, will there be any problems in the society or in ourselves? Yes, like it might sound very elevated, but how we can really apply those principles in our life? Very simple, basic principles. Like that's how you might have seen in our movement. We call everybody as a Mataji. Sometimes young girls or ladies, they really get offended. Oh, am I really looking like your mother? But like in our Vedic society, the highest respect that we give it to somebody like is mother. And once we are saying somebody is a mother, means we are giving the highest respect. People talk about Women's Day, we talk about this day or that day, but every day, we have our culture to respect the women. Isn't it so wonderful how the Vedic culture is about, how Sanatana Dharma is all about giving highest respect to all the women, whether it's like whoever it is. And then paradravyesu lastravat. It's not that, okay, I just want to grab as much as possible from others. I just want to hoard and because of my greediness. But then, yes, I'll just get whatever is required for me. And then how it has to be used for the Lord service, for the benefit of everybody. Will you think that like with this, there will be any poverty, there will be any so-called gap of the different classes and societies and so on? And then he's saying that atmavat sarvabhutesu. If we have that feeling for others, once we have the needs, concerns, interest of others, once we are aware of that, do you think that there will be any point of time will there be any miscommunication, misunderstanding in the relationship? Because once we speak, then somebody said that we really think twice. What exactly he will feel, what exactly his areas of interest, what exactly his concern or her concern. Those are the really wonderful qualities, right? And of course, if we go now, let's take shelter of Bhagavad Gita. What Bhagavad Gita is saying is the quality of a Pandita. He's saying, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Suniche Baswapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. What Lord is saying here? The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned, a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and dog eater. See equally. First of all, Vidya leads to what? Vinaya. Vidya dadati vinayam. A person who is really knowledgeable means he will be humble. He will be vinaya. Like a tree which is really laden with the most fruits, like its branches goes down. Right? Like a Vidya, is not the one, right, who having a biggest crown on his head, that I am the most learned and I'm the most scholastic person in this in this kingdom, right? And with that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, how he sees everybody, Brahmana, like a Brahmana or cow or hasti, elephant or a Sunni or dog or even dog eater, everybody he sees with that equal vision. So you see how broad this thought process is also, right? With this, right, people talk about this racism and sexism, or even right, this feminism, this or that, like how everything will go away, right? Like not even that, like it going to, like Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita talking about even beyond speciesism also, right? You want to see even a Brahmana and a dog, right, at the same level, right? What do you mean by same level? What do you mean by same level? Is it that all are equal? No. Like how Lord is there in every living entity. Everybody is a potential to grow, right? How we really respect that how Lord is there, how Lord is manifesting his energy in different persons or in different entities in different ways. How yamam pasyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pasyati. A pandita, a devotee, he sees the Lord everywhere. People talk about that, okay, I want to do something for somebody practically. That like somebody, some people ask that, okay, you Krishna conscious devotees, what you're doing for the society. But if like, as we said, there are different levels of education, right? Like, because we consider ourselves as a body, we consider ourselves a mind and the soul, right? Yes, we can give somebody some food, or we can give somebody for some, like some blood, or we can give somebody for, right, to take care of the health, or we give somebody, okay, how we can really be a nice, mentally stable and steady person, right? But then we go one step further. Said no, like yes, we should give as much as possible to take care of our health, and that's the reason in our society we have the biggest food for life program. And the number of prasadam plates that we distribute all over the world is like more than 2 million plates every day, right? Not about it. And then yes, we do take care of, right, like even the the health or the relationship, or right, in a various ways how we can create a nice peaceful society, right? But at the same time, right, we should not limit ourselves to those aspects of taking care of body and mind, but then how we should really take a care of the soul, how we should see the soul in every living entity, and how our focus is to purify the soul with the right knowledge. That's how we see that how a knowledgeable person, as some of you said, that he understands who am I, how Lord is there everywhere, and how the soul is part and parcel of the Lord, and he sees that how Lord is there, in all the living entities, and we need to awaken, everybody's relationship with the Supreme Lord. And then how beautiful and how peaceful society it will be, right? Yes, that is the real knowledge, and then how we can share that knowledge with everybody, right? Yes. And then right, yes, we talk about that real knowledge means it should bring transformation. We have also discussed earlier as well, this knowledge should really bring transformation of the consciousness, right? Yes, we are not really talking about, right, there are two things. One is called jada vidya, it is called para vidya. The jada vidya, yeah, we have to take care, like how like it's all about capability, it's about skills, how do you earn valuables, how to take care of the day-to-day things, how to take care of our conditional duty. Conditional duty we talked about as a father, as a brother, or as a employee, right? Yes, so we need to succeed, but how our life should not be only limited to this jada vidya. It should also lead to para vidya, that how, right, we should take care of our soul, the eternal hankering that is there in our soul, that how, what exactly is the character that we need to build. What exactly the values that we need to build, what are the values that we need to cultivate in our heart, right? And what is our constitutional duty, how can I really transform our heart, right? So that's why we say, right, this knowledge is all about transformation of consciousness. And what is the transformation of consciousness? It is all about how we can help in building the character. And the second is what? how we can connect to the Lord. This knowledge means transformation of consciousness, positive transformation of consciousness, and that should lead to character. That should lead to character. Where that character leads, manifested as focusing on the values of life, focusing on the transformation of heart, and then it should really help us in really connecting to the Lord. That is the really true knowledge. And then, right, as we move forward, then we really understand how do we seek that knowledge. How do we seek that knowledge? Now we understand that, okay, what is knowledge? That yes, it should be really about transformation of consciousness. It should be really building of our character. And it should be really, how we can really connect to the Supreme Lord. But then how do we seek that knowledge? Any thoughts? How do we seek that knowledge? Can we go anywhere? Is it available in our schools? Is it available in our kirana shop? Is it available in a hospital? Where exactly this knowledge is available? How do you really seek the this perfect knowledge, which really helps in building our character? Where it is available at this point of time? Would like to hear. And through experience, through samskara, through self-realization, through our gurus. So through Guru Parampara. Yes, we are really talking about how do we really identify them? How do we really realize them? Yes, understanding Bhagavad Gita and applying it. Okay. Very good, very good. Any other thoughts? Okay, so once you talk about our material knowledge, once you talk about material knowledge, what do? Like we want to know, okay, what exactly is the value of G? What exactly different microbes or viruses or different chemicals? What do? We go through some scientific experiment, follow some, we have some hypothesis, we follow some process, then we have some observations, and then we really see that, okay, what exactly is the value, right? But then, right, like, is this always the scientific experiments that we do, that we realize through our eyes, through the prataksha, aksha means eyes, right? Through our eyes, through our senses, is always perfect? Is it always perfect, whatever we perceive through our eyes and senses? Because we need to understand that all these observations that we do through whatever the scientific study is all about, when we observe through our senses. But each of our senses has its own limitations, isn't it? Like the eyes, right? It has a specific wavelength it can see. Like they say around 392, around 750 nanometer only. Right? I think we have some doctors also here, they can tell properly, right? Or, we talk about even the ears, right? It has also specific frequency it can hear, right? This say 20 hertz to, right, some 20 kilohertz only. And in that frequency only human being can hear, like cannot hear these supersonic or infrasonic waves that dog's whistle, they say, right? Like once somebody blows dog's whistle, dog can hear, but we cannot hear. We have our limitations, right? Even the nose, it has its own limitations, right? When a running nose, when we have a cold, we cannot understand which flavor it is, which fragrance it is, or even the taste, right? Once you test the orange after taking a lemon or after taking a sugar, the taste is different, right? So you don't know what is right and wrong. Or even the skin, sometimes the 30 degrees centigrade, right? In a hot summer, it really feels so hot, but then the same 30 degree, right, in a winter, you really feel so nice. Oh, I want to really live in this, nice air conditioning, right? How our skin also differentiates different temperatures differently. Or even the same temperature, that might be perceived by different people at different point of time and differently. So how do you know what is the right and wrong with respect to the knowledge? Or somebody say that, okay, okay, we'll do some scientific experiments, even the scientific experiments, and how they are changing. We are committing so many mistakes, right? Like somebody says that, okay, atoms are indivisible, like we say Dalton's theory, then come Rutherford, and Rutherford said, no, there's electrons and protons within nucleus, and then we talk about this, right, Mendeleev, right, like they talk about, they brought the periodic table, then we talk about the Einstein's, the theory of relativity, then we talk about quantum mechanics, right, how it is evolving, year over year. So we cannot say that, okay, whatever we have learned now is really the perfect. It is really evolving, it is really changing. We don't know what we don't know yet so far. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, there is no end to it. Like whatever we are doing, that definitely, right, somebody might say that no, that is wrong, right, and something is new. And that's all about all the PhDs they do, right, just trying to prove that, okay, whatever somebody has done, right, like they take whatever they have done to the next level, right. I wanted to just prove Nana Muni, Nana Mat, they say, right? Right? Or then, okay, then also we say how we are committed to, illusions. Can somebody tell in this graph, in this picture, how many colors are there? Can somebody say, like you can see, like this square is there. In this square, how many colors are there? Is it like, yes, we see green color, then there is this white color. Okay, Miss Rekha is saying 3, Miss Harita is saying 3, she was saying 3 colors, 4 colors, 4 colors, 5 colors. Miss Jayalakshmi and Miss Sakshi is saying 5 colors. Okay, 5 colors. Is it 5 colors? Okay, actually, I could have unmuted you, and especially our physical sessions, you really ask also. Okay, anybody knows what those 5 colors are? Okay, Mr. Krishnan is saying 4 colors. Okay. Okay, so I see that a lot of you are saying 4 and 5. Yes, Miss Suparna is saying 4 colors. Like somebody saying, yes, green, white, pink, and red. These are the red colors. You might be thinking that, right? But our dear friends, it contains only 3 colors: green, white, and pink. Pink in between green color and pink in between white color. Right? Okay, now my next question is that, can you tell me, you see there are 2 pictures are here. One picture, here we have, right? So here, okay, actually, right? So here you have one group of circle, and on the right hand side, we have one other group of colors. So in the center, there is one white circle. Here also in the center, there is one white circle. So which is bigger? The center of which picture is really bigger? The center white ball of which picture is bigger, left or right? Left or right? So there are 2 pictures. There are 2 pictures here. One is on the left, one is right. I'm asking the central ball, right? The central circle of which one is bigger, right? Somebody is saying left. So most of you are saying left. Mr. Kailas and Ms. Rekha, you are saying same size. Yes. Yes, our dear friends, both are same size. Because of the relativity, once again, we see it differently. And here, because of also the color spectrum, we see different colors. But yes, these are the 3 colors only. So now my next question is that, what do you see in this picture? There is this black picture, right? Some black diagram is there. What do you see in this picture? Okay, somebody is saying, I don't know, how do you see? Okay, it's a woman and an old man. Okay, old man. Miss Sakshi is saying only old man. Okay, yeah, so how we see differently, right? Yes, this is an old man playing saxophone, right? And this is the one lady as well, right? Okay, now, right, now let's see, what do you see here in the second picture? What do you see? What do you see? Yes, now we are talking about the 4th picture here. What do you see in this picture? Okay, Miss Hema is saying that, okay, liar is written. Okay, Mrs. Siva is saying that he is seeing a person, man. Okay, okay, so men with glasses, I guess. Okay, so now lady is wearing specs, man is crying. Okay, yeah, that's what I just wanted to say. that how the same observations different people see in differently. So how it's very difficult to understand even the true knowledge. Okay, and all of you have heard this story, how the 6 blind persons trying to understand, right, a beautiful object. Somebody saying it's an rope. Somebody saying, oh, it's a big pillar. Somebody saying it's a big tree. Somebody saying, oh, it's a like a knife. Right? How, because of our limited senses, because of our this anuman, because of our speculation, because of our gross work, right? We just try to think something as something else, right? Without proper understanding, without proper vision. Just like, like we also give this example, like a lady is, walking on the street, a small boy might think that, oh, this lady is looking like my mother, maybe a tiger, would think that, oh, this is my nice food, a young boy, who was really mad with that, enjoyment, think that, oh, she is there for my enjoyment. A spiritualist, may think that, oh, she has the right potential to grow spiritually. So how the same thing can be seen, or same person can be seen by different persons. So then how do you really understand, right? What exactly is the true knowledge? What exactly is the true understanding? Right? Or we hear of this Dr. Frog story, most of you might have heard how there lived a frog who had done her PhD in that well. And once upon a time, another frog came from the ocean and then said, do you know, right, I have come from this place which is so vast in size in water. And the Dr. Frog, who has done PhD in that frog, who knows each corner of that well, I think that, no, what do you think? I'm staying here and I'm the oldest here and the senior most. I know everything. What else you know? Can you tell me how big the size of the place from where you have come from? Is it twice of my size, or 5 times, 10 times, or 100 times? Right? But somehow we have been conditioned to think in certain things in certain ways, and we try to understand, right, the absolute truth in our own understanding. The whole purpose of walking through, right, different of slides is really, make us aware that how we are having limited senses, and how we are prone to commit mistakes, how we are illusioned, how we try to do some guesswork, but still, right, we don't try to get the complete picture. We just try to get a one silo view. It happens everywhere. Or then we think that, oh, I know everything through my my senses or through my understanding, analytically, logically, but then, right, still I cannot understand, which is really beyond my perception. Then how do I really understand? Like, let's say one more example, we'll see. Somehow a child is lost, right? And then a child trying to understand, right, who is my father? Who is my father? Right? And then, yes, see, somehow the child found that, okay, I need to now do the DNA search of all the male population all over the world. And then by doing that male population, I can really understand, okay, whose DNA matches, and then maybe he could be my father. Or you could say that, okay, somebody is really looking like me. Okay, maybe he could be my father. Or somehow he really found that who is his mother, and then, right, trying to ask her mother, right, who is his father. So what exactly is the best process? Trying to do this right, scientific experiment whose DNA matches, or some trying to understand, okay, whose look matches with myself, or trying to understand, right, with the various ways, asking so many different people. Or just somehow you got your mother, now you ask your mother, who is my father? What is that process? Yes, a child can understand who is the father by asking the mother. Similarly, like in an organization as well, that, okay, if I have some roles and responsibilities, right, I have to ask myself, right, what is my position? What is my position? And then what exactly is the supreme objective, the mission and vision of the organization? And then how do I really align my roles and responsibility with that company's goals and like the CEO's objective or the company objective or my manager's objective? How can I really aligning my goal, right, or achieving my goal with the authority, right? So what we are trying to say here is that how we need to really understand from the authority, from the right authority, what exactly is the right knowledge. As we talked about, yes, whenever something is created, there is a user manual for it. Similarly, when Lord has created this universe, He has also given us a manual, right? Or whenever we are having some problem, right? We are given some medicine. Lord also has given the medicine for us, through which we can be really get cured. Through which all our senses will get purified. Through which the cataract or the blindness that is there in our eyes, that will get removed, right? Yes. Lord has given us the manual. Lord has given us the medicine through which we can really understand what exactly is the right thing for us. That's why I say the Vedas are like mothers, which can really tell us who is the Supreme Father. Vedas means with. It comes from the root word called with. This means knowledge. And how this Vedas, they have stood the test of time, right? And whatever is really mentioned in the different Vedas, different point of time, how it has come true, right? Somebody might think that, oh, some of the things we cannot prove it. Somebody, we cannot realize it. We cannot realize it. But like in our mathematics or in science also, there are some things which we don't know, isn't it? Right? Like somebody will say that, okay, okay, let's in mathematics, right? Like we say that there is something called square root of -1. It's called imaginary number. Is there any number like that? Or we say that what is that? Like while the child learns ABCD, if the child asks why B comes later, and why A comes first, do we have answer for it? Or somebody might say that, okay, we always say that a point has a radius of 0. Is it really 0? There are so many things which we really accept it, right? These are really important for us, because once we have that, we take help of that square root of -1 in my imaginary number, or we take really help of those, right, a radius with the 0 as a point, right? It has its own utility, it's its own value. But then as we really progress, right, in our higher levels, in our higher education, right, we really get a better understanding of that. But initially, right, we take help that, yes, A, B, C, D, that's how we have to progress. And then once we grow, right, then we really take help of that and really learn some words and sentences and write thesis and write so many beautiful things. But if we really end up our life just by asking, oh, okay, why B comes later and A comes first, right, that's just really wasting our time, right? So similarly, like, yes, there are some things which are there given Vedas, right? Like how, right, that they are true, right? And what are they, right? We talk about this cow dung. Like you talk about any like stool of any living entity is considered abominable, right? But then how cow dung is considered so sacred, or even cow urine also, right? People have found that how it has contained so antibiotic properties. Or people talk about that how like this it's a bhugol, right? And it is saptadeep, right? Like it's all given in Vedas, right? Or like we talk about characharam, even the plants have a life, and that's what we hear in our shastras. But that is really got proven just over recent years, right? Or even the Vedas, they have predicted so many things as well over a period of time. In Vedas, they talk about the appearance of Buddha or Chanakya or Osoka or Chandragupta Maurya or even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like so many prominent personalities, how they will come, when they will come. It's already given, and thousands and thousands and thousands of before when they had predicted, right? Or even talk about it in the Sarnath, the pillar, right? The metal that is there, like when NASA is coming, trying to understand how it has stood over the period of so many thousands of years, what is the quality of that metal? Right? Or, right, we talk about like even these Dwarka, right? How it is being submerged in the ocean now, like the kind of the particles that we get it, right? Like how we cannot just ignore, because if it's really beyond our perception, that it's not true, or it just is like, so they call mythological, right? This mythological is really the term that's coined by the Indologists, trying to, right, prove that the people of India, they are having low, right? Mythology means, right, myth. This comes from myth. Myth means mithya. These are false, right? But then, we need to really understand how rich and how profound, this Vedic culture and this Vedic study is all about, right? And yes, it is so much in detail, right? So much in detail, like it, just talk about Shruti and Smriti, right? Which is really heard and which is really, being really said, and by the sages, like different Vedas, different Upavedas, different Vedangas, definitely, right? To discuss all this is beyond the scope of our session today, but definitely if time permits, we can discuss about it, like what are the different components of the Vedas, right? How vast they are, right? How they really talk about the different aspects of the life, right? How we can really live this life so beautifully, and how we can really live this life and go back to Godhead as well, right? It gives everything, and it talks about this Sardarsanas, this Vedanta Mimamsas Nyaya, right? But then what is exactly, why they are given differently in different places of time for different kinds of people, right? Like we say that, okay, these are like, different dictionary, like somebody is having pocket dictionary, somebody is having a, right, like some encyclopedia for students, and there is a big, thesaurus, right? Based on what we can digest, based on some time, place, and circumstances, right? Different instructions have been given by the Lord to the different sets of people, based on what you can digest, right? And based on, right, our capabilities, based on the time, based on that place. But what exactly is the essence of all the Vedas? What is the essence of the Vedas? What exactly is the essence of the Vedas? What exactly the Vedas trying to tell us? So we can really summarize this in three pillars. What are they? It tells us the first thing is that who am I and who is God? It gives us the relationship, it gives us sambandha. This is the primary aspect that is given in the Vedas. Who am I and who is the God? Yes, I'm the soul, I'm the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Father. And I am Mami Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Yes, I'm part and parcel of the Lord. That relationship is really profoundly in various ways, has been given. And then it takes the second aspect. How do you revive that relationship? This is the process. First talks about our relationship, and then it talks about how we can re-establish that relationship through the process called avideya, through this process of bhakti. How do you really connect with the Supreme Lord? And then, right, once you connect with the Supreme Lord, then we really develop that love of Godhead. That is a fruit. So it really talks about three things. Vedas, the essence of the Vedas, the supreme knowledge is all about sambandha, avideya, and prayojana. Sambandha means, yes, what is our relationship? Who am I? And what is my relationship with the God? And how do I can re-establish my real relationship with the God? And then what is the result of attaining, going through that process? I really develop that supreme love with the Supreme Lord. Okay, now let's understand with a contemporary example. We are traveling from one place to another place, we don't know, but then we really get lost. And what do we do nowadays? We take help of a GPS, or like nowadays Google Map. What it says quickly, it tells us where exactly we are, and then we know that, okay, we want to go to some place. We put the destination there, and then it shows us the path, right? What it says, we know what exactly the source, where am I, and I need to tell, okay, where exactly I'm going. It shows the destination, right? And then it shows us the path, right? This is all about this Vedas, the essence of the Vedas. Like, once you're really trying to understand what is the Vedas, we should really focus on these three things. That's the essence. That is the sum and substance of the Vedas. So now, once you understand, okay, what is the true knowledge, what is the essence of the Vedas, how do you learn it? Right? Yes, as in a school, what do? We take help of a teacher, we go to a school and we associate with our peers, with the students, and we take help of some books. Right? Similarly, in this process of spirituality also, what do? Yes, and we take help of a guru or the spiritual master. And who is the spiritual master? Who knows? We should really talk about who knows the Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayajan. And that's how we test our guru. We know that, okay, the sadhus, sadhu means who are practicing the same which is really taught by the guru. And then the shastra, the books, which everybody is following, which really shows us, once again, that Sambandha, Avideya, and Prayojan, which shows us the GPS, right? Like our knowledge is really based on this tripod, guru, sadhu, and shastra. This is our process of learning. Yes, as we go through it, right, we learn that, okay, what is this is all about that we learn. Yes, Sarvo Upanishado Gava Dogdha Gopalanandana Parthavata Sudhira Bhakta Dugdham Gita Amritam Mahat. Here we hear that how the essence of all the Vedas is Gita Upanishad. And that is a Gita, right? Nobody can really doubt it in Sanatan Dharma. The essence of the Vedas and Upanishads, the Upangas, and all these Vedanta Sutra, everything considered, the essence of all the sum and substance of that is Gita. And then what is the essence of Gita? Yes, Krishna, who is acting like a coward boy, and he's getting the essence of all the Vedas, and he's giving it to Vatsa, he's giving to the calf, who is Arjuna. And then not only the calf is really drinking it, but he's sharing that drink, he's sharing that nectar, right, with everybody, right? And that teachings of Bhagavad Gita. But then, yes, if you don't really understand who is really the right guru, which is the right process to follow, right, then we really come across with so many swindlers, right, so many charlatans, right, who in the guise of a sadhu, because they say that, okay, this in a religious, the super spiritual supermarket, right, okay, you get what do you want, and especially Srila Prabhupada and our founder Acharya says that because we want to get cheated, we are getting cheaters, as our gurus. So how we should really know? Because we should really, once again, right, we should really understand if we are really following somebody as a guru, somebody as a sadhu, right, and we should really ask these three questions. Can you tell us who am I and who is the Supreme Lord? Can you tell us what is the process that we have to follow? And can you tell us where we'll go, where we'll end up? And if he's saying something different than this essence of the Vedas, right? And how do you the essence of the Vedas? It is there in the Bhagavad Gita. You see Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita, 10.8, 9, 10, right? All this, right? It gives the same principles. And it is there in our Bhagavatam. It is there in all the places, right? Which really, talks about these principles. And if somebody is really going against this principle, somebody saying that, no, give me cash, I'll give you ass. Oh, give me, right, some gift, and then I will really give you, right, a big promotion, or I'll give you this or that. Then we should really, not only take with a pinch of salt or the bucket of salt. And how should we really behave, right, with those so-called charlatans? Like, somebody says, oh, sambhog se sambadhi milta hai, right? Because people are trying to get some shortcut in their life, right? So that's why they really come across, right, with this cheaters, right? How we should be really, really careful. We always give this example, right? If you want to get, let's say, a round trip to Zurich, right? If I want to get a round trip to Zurich, I want to get an air ticket. Can I go to a panwala and ask that, oh, can you help me giving an air ticket for that one? And I have this, right, this plan to go and just come around. Can I go and panwala and ask? No, right? I have to go to the right authority. I have to go to the right site, like website or some travel site or travel persons to really help me in really understanding, to really getting the right plan. But if I go there, some travel sales agent, and then ask that, okay, can you just tell me, this about it? And then, he asks, he does a lot of research, he gives you a lot of plans. Okay, you can go like this, you can go like this, this will take this much of time, and this will, right, but this is the best path that you can go, and then also on. But then, where are you going, sir? When are you going? And then you say, no, I was just asking for fun, right? So if you are going somewhere, then you should have the right desire, you should have the right motive once you're going to a spiritual person, right? But then, okay, now you have the right intention, you're going to the right place. But then the travel agent says, no, okay, so I got you the best price. I got you the best way to go forward now, and it costs 1 lakh rupees. And he says, no, I don't have 1 lakh. I have just only 1 rupees. Once we really understand, then we should be willing to pay the price for it. Don't say that, no, ye mere vas ki baat nahi hai. I cannot tell that, right? If I'm really serious, really understanding the knowledge, and I want to realize the knowledge, then I have to pay the price for it. Yes, sometimes we get some teasers, some trailers, but you have to watch the right movie, the complete movie. You have to pay the price. Nothing comes free, my friends. That's what we say, that if somebody says that, okay, you just do this, you take this mantra and you will become God, then he's a number one cheater. Prabhupada says he's not a God, but he doesn't want to become to be a God, but he's a dog, and he wants you to become a dog, right? So how we should be careful with these swindlers, right? Especially Srila Prabhupada, right? Especially in the West, he always used to tell his disciples, so who is the God of this week? Because every time, like especially in the West, somebody would come from India and say that, oh, I am Baba, I am Bhagavan, I am this and I am that. Right? How we should be careful about all of them. Right? If you want to buy a diamond, you cannot just go to any store and say that, oh, I need this diamond for this Diwali, or for Valentine's Day, or for the marriage of my daughter, or so on. Right? I have to do the proper research. Right? I cannot go to anybody, because then it really talks about my foolishness. Right? So it is really important for us to really understand, so that we don't really get fooled by the cheaters. Right? And then Shastra tells us what is the quality of a sadhu. Right? Titiksava karunika suruda sarva dehina ajata satrava santa sadhava sadhu bhusana. A sadhu, a saintly person, is a tolerant, he's merciful, he's a friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies, he's peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, right? And all his characters are sublime, and that's why he call is a sadhu is a cool. What is a cool? Means he knows the conclusion of the scriptures, he obeys the scriptures, he observes all the principles of the scriptures, and he liberates his followers also, right, from this body, from this birth, old age, disease, and Yamraj's death. He is really a sadhu, right, who has all these properties, right? And that how you know that, yes, somebody has to be really connected. If I want to really see and have the electricity in my house, right, this has to be connected to the powerhouse. Unless it is connected to the powerhouse, I cannot get the light, right? Yes, the knowledge that I should get, I should connect from the parampara. Lord is saying that how this knowledge is coming in the 4 paramparas, like this Brahma Sampradaya, Lakshmi Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, how the acharyas are there, right? We should ask, if somebody is saying that somebody is a guru, then are you really connected to the right, to the Supreme Lord, right? Yes, because Lord is saying that Ibam Paramparam Paptam Imam Rajarse Vidu Sa Kalene Hamata. Yes, it is coming in the parampara. If somebody is not coming in the parampara, then we should really doubt it. And then once we understand it, that if somebody is the right person, then how should we really approach? This is a beautiful principle that we should now take it. Now we understand, if we really found some right person, what should we do? Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadeksyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. We should do 3 things once we find the right guru. What we should do? Pranipatena, we should submit ourselves to him. And then pariprasnena, we should be inquisitive, we should ask questions, and we should do seva. We should perform some service, right? We should be willing to pay a price for it, right? Because they know the truth, they can tell us the truth. And now we'll just in a very, very, very briefly, we'll talk about who is this real sadhu, who is a real guru, right? Especially who has really established himself as the true acharyas, right? And who has really transformed so many millions of lives. It's not only right in a specific section, right? Across the world, he has transformed millions of lives. We cannot even think of what he has done to this humanity. Yes, it's not about the statements of today, like Mr. Modi or the Prime Minister of UK, or different scientists or different philosopher or different professors are talking about it, right? He has really transformed it. It's not only talking about his achievements, but what kind of a person he was, what kind of a struggle he went through, right, to establish these principles of Dharma, to establish, to share this knowledge with all of us. It's unimaginable. right? And why you're talking to say, it's very right, nothing like in a devotee's life or in his Gita courses, nothing comes by chance, right? And tomorrow, do you know that tomorrow his disappearance day, right? Tomorrow is the disappearance of 44th disappearance day of his divine grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya. Yes, on 14th of November at 7:30 p.m. he left this world. But then before leaving, right, he had transformed, and after leaving also, now he's transforming so many lives. Is there any organization, who after he left, that this organization still flourishing and really continuing to give so much this values of life, right? He's the true acharya, he's the true guru, right? Not only right like what he has given during his life, right, or at the end, towards the end of his life, but from the very beginning, like once he had a typhoid at the age of around 2 years, and then some Dr. Boss told that, okay, no, this child has to be given some chicken broth, chicken soup, so that he can get cured. And father was a Pakka Vaishnava. He said, no, I cannot do that. Like, we don't take non-vegetarian or, meat eating at our home. Then doctor said, no, at that point of time, you have to give him to give the energy, to give the nutrients and all that stuff. Right. But then like he said, no, it's not possible. Then doctor said, okay, I'll bring it from my house and I'll feed him. And then he was about to feed this Abhay Charan, who was a small boy, and he's really vomited everything. Right now, like, because you see from the very childhood, he really, not only understood the principles, but really followed that principle, right? How so strong, like in the beginning days, he used to play with your friends, pulling a chariot, doing a Rath Yatra, with his friends. And during childhood, right, he used to see how his father, used to play kartal and mridanga and worship the deities. Then yes, on one very auspicious day, he went with his friend to meet one sadhu in this Ulta Danga Junction Road in Calcutta, right? He was staying in Calcutta, right? And then that sadhu, just in the first meeting itself, he told him, oh, young boy, you seem to be very learned and educated. Why don't you preach this message in English language? That is the first message he received, from this sadhu, and he took that message to his life and soul. Right? And when was that? He was just 26 years old. It was in 1922. He appeared in 1896, right? And it was in 1922, right? And then he took that message to his life and soul, right? He took that message, and throughout the life he walked, towards achieving that. Right. And yes, we cannot imagine what exactly he has done. Right. Like, yes, during his Grihastha life, right, he was like owner of a like medical pharmacy and taking care of his family. And then he was really contributing to his Guru Maharaj, institution in various ways. Right. Then he tried to establish also a group of devotees called a League of Devotees in Jhansi. Right. But then he was trying his best, but somehow he was not so successful. Right. But then after a certain point of time, he left everything. Right. Because the deep desire to serve his spiritual master was so strong. Right. And then he went to Vrindavan, with meager, just living like a mendicant in this Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan. Now also, if you go there in Vrindavan, this temple, you can see that, how in simple life he was living. And what he was doing, he was just reading the commentaries of our acharyas. Right? We said that there's a quality of a sadhu who understands the conclusion of the shastras. He was reading the shastras, whatever there was in the Sanskrit and different languages, he was compiling it in English language, so that he can really preach them, he can really share them. And you cannot believe, his regular lifestyle is all about, hardly he used to sleep, maybe for an hour or two, maybe 10 to 12 in the night. Right. And throughout the day, he was really completely absorbed in devotional activities. We said, right, he obeys the principles of Shastra and he observes those principles to the life. It's not that, okay, I'm a sadhu. No, it's not for me. It's only for my followers. And he was really following each and everything. And while he was printing, he didn't have anything. Right. He was going sometimes walking to, this Chatikara road. And, sometimes he used to go to Delhi even without a breakfast, to go to the printing store so that, he can print the books for us. Right. And then he got the books printed, just a first volume of Bhagavatam. And then he approached somebody, oh, Sumati Murarji, oh, he has, she has a steam ship company so that, that ship can take me to, USA, America. he at the age of 70, right, he went and begged that lady, please allow me to go to USA. Right. And that lady said, you will die. You are an old man in that cold country. If you go, what you will do? But then he said, no, this is the instruction of my spiritual master. I have to do it. Right. With so much of vigor and enthusiasm, he took that. Right. And then he boarded the ship, and it was more than 30 days of journey. Right. And he celebrated his 70th birthday, right, in that ship. And during that time, he had 2 heart attacks. Right, he was just about to leave his body. Like you saying that if I would have a third attack, definitely I would have left my body. But then he had that faith in the Lord and a faith in the spiritual master that yes, my spiritual master has said that, and I have to do it. I will do it. And we see that as over a period of time. Yes, our acharyas had said, "Prithvite ache yati nagaradi gram sarvatra pachar hayvanam." Now, this principle, this prediction was there that the holy name of the Lord will be distributed all over the world. And who did it? You just see one thing. We talk about Sanatana Dharma. Who has really transformed, right, even one person, one Westerners to follow this Indian culture, to follow this Sanatana culture? Was there any one person in our whole history of our Indian values, Indian history? Has anybody, even one person has done it? And Srila Prabhupada went at the age of 70 and he has transformed thousands and millions of lives. How it is possible unless he is empowered? And that's why he called Sakteves Avatar. And then he went to this New York with no support, nothing. He had just had a 40 rupees, which is maybe just sufficient for one day of living there. He was just living with so much of struggle, right? What kind of a struggle he went through that place. He was living with the hippies, and he was staying with one crazy fellow who was completely overdosed with the LSDs, that even one day he was just about to beat him. He was about to kill him. And he was really on the road, right? Somehow he found a place and he got there. Like you are talking about, he's a sadhu who is really knows all the essence of the scriptures, right? And who is living such a pure life in a Vrindavan. Now he's really going in the street and without any shelter. Right? What kind of a life is all about? Right? He's teaching with his example. Right? Like, yes, he is a messenger of the Lord. He's empowered by the Lord. But at the same time, once you want to distribute this love of Godhead, what kind of compassion he had for everybody, that he is showing with his example. And just over a period of time, now we see that, like in a place called Russia, where KGBs were following and are trying to capture all the Hare Krishna devotees to punish him and do so much tortures. And now Russia is one of the place where this Krishna conscious movement is flourishing like anything. It's growing so exponentially. Right? How it is possible? Right? It's all because of this divine personality. Right? We are all discussing. It's only because of him. Right? What exactly he has done to all of us. Right? The beautiful literatures he has given. He has the beautiful temples and the deities he has given. Especially once you go to Mayapur, we can see the small hut where he was staying, and now we are building this one of the biggest temple in the world, and it's called Temple of Vedic Planetarium. Right? Who has really introduced India to the world. He appeared from this Golok Vrindavan, to this Bulok Vrindavan, and he took that Vrindavan, to all over the world, and he brought everybody to this Vrindavan, and from this Vrindavan, once again, on this auspicious day, he left to this eternal Vrindavan. Right? He brought this pure Sanatana Dharma even to the people who didn't have any culture. Right? And how he has really, so much of compassion personified that even he, for the ladies and whoever, right, coming from Mlecha without any culture, he brought, Ati Nicha Uchatakara, like, from the lowest class, he brought them to the highest class of Vaishnavas. And how pure life they were leading. And this is one more important thing, like you see, how he lived not only his life, but during the last moment of his life. Right? How he was dedicating everything for the service of the Lord, that he was on his, we cannot say deathbed because a devotee never dies, but just for our understanding without any proper word, we can say that on his last moment, he was really dictating, the commentaries of the Srimad Bhagavatam so that we can release it, we can read it. But unfortunate are we that we don't have a test for reading Srila Prabhupada's books. So that how we should be determined to read, to give this message that he wanted to give it to us, which is really coming from the spiritual world. Yes, he has written umpteen volume of books. He was really traveling all over, right, to give us this message, establish so many temples, has so many disciples all over the world, right? Yes, right. He has given us, right, the best process for us to follow, right? He has given us the best person to love, Krishna, right? He has given the best pastimes, best philosophy, right? And he has given best peers, best association, right, for us. What else we can really ask for, right? Yes, now really understand what exactly is a true education, true knowledge, right? Sambandha, abhideya, and prayojan. That yes, we should be, we should be staying away from the swindlers and so much misconceptions and the doubts that really, chokes us, right? And then yes, we should perform all these akarmas, right? All this process of bhakti, so that we can really, get really elevated ourselves, enlightened ourselves, by taking shelter of this spiritual master of, the acharyas who have really shown their life for us to follow. Okay. So yes, I'm sure all of you have been really following this Kartik Vrat. So thank you very much. So you have any questions or comments? Would like to hear your reflections. Would like to hear from you. Yes, next weekend we'll be talking one of the most important topic. We'll be now going to 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We'll be talking about the mind control, which is the most difficult part, how we can deal with this mind controls and how we can lead a regulated lifestyle. So we'll be discussing that. So any questions, comments from anybody? Thank you for your comments and appreciation and encouragements. Yes, we understand that we have received so much this true knowledge, that how we can apply that knowledge into our own life, that, and then how we can really share it with others. Yes. Okay, so yes, we'll have our food for soul session. I would really encourage you, appreciate you to join, so we can have further discussion. I will be reciting from Bhagavad Gita. We'll be, watching from Srila Prabhupada, and also we'll be discussing this Damodarashtakam verses as well. And then I guess I would request all of you that, if possible, please do join this our daily sessions, and also, right, like please continue our this 31 days of challenge. So already more than 2 weeks left. There's hardly any days left. So please continue to perform these activities that we described as a part of our karma. Thank you very much. So yes, let's pray to the Lordship, Lord Narasimhadev, so that he really empowers and everybody to remove all the anarthas, and everybody is free from all the difficulties everybody is going through. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namaste Jaste Jase Aviravir Bhava Vajranakha Vajradamstra Karmasaya Randhaya Randhaya Tamo Graso Vam Swaham Abhayam Abhayam Atmani Bhoishtha Om Shrom. Okay, so may everybody get the causeless blessings from Lord Narasimhadev. So now let's go to the most important part of our session, the chanting of the holy name. So I would request everybody, as we always say, the chanting of the holy name is the highest and the most blissful process. That is the process we talked about, abhideya, taramadhe, sarvashrestha, and nama sankirtan. Out of all the processes that has been given to connect to the Supreme Lord, to establish the relationship with the Lord, holy name, chanting of the holy name is the most important one. So yes, while we chant the holy name, how we should be really sober, how we should be really, completely absorbed and focused in hearing the holy name. Let's not think anything else. As much as we are serious and sincere in chanting of the holy name, that much we can really, feel the presence of the Lord. That's why Lord says in this 4th chapter also, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam tatheva bhajamyaham. So as we surrender to the Supreme Lord, we get the reciprocation accordingly. So while we chant, I would request everybody, right, please, sit quietly and let's chant, this holy name very sincerely, from our heart. Okay, can we just do it? Let's take the shelter of Panchatattva, like Sriman Mahaprabhu and all the Panchatattwas take their shelter let's offer our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, who has given everything to us, and let's chant the holy name of the Lord. So let's take this 8 minutes and let's chant one round of the holy name of the Lord. And after that, we'll just continue with our Kirtan program. Yes, Prabhuji.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti.
Thank you very much for joining our mantra meditation. I would request everybody to please spend quality time for our chanting. Exclusively just hearing the holy name, pronouncing it very distinctly and praying from the heart. And definitely we can feel the presence of the Lord. This is the process that we are talking about. So now let's go for our chanting, for our kirtan. And today we have a wonderful family with us. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We have Ankur Prabhu and Shraddha Mataji with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Maybe
Prabhuji, can you
Prabhuji and Mataji.
switch on your videos? Uncle Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. You can unmute Mataji, Ankur Prabhu and Shraddha Mataji. They have been practicing for so many years. This wonderful family.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
He's our youth teacher. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you, Ankur Prabhuji. Would love to hear from you. Please take us to Mayapur, the place of Sankirtan. Hare Krishna.
श्री श्री यशोदा दामोदर भगवान की जय। कार्तिक मास की जय। दामोदर अष्टकम की जय।
नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भ्रजमानम्
नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भ्रजमानम्
यशोदाभियोलुखलाघवमानम् रामृष्टमत्यन्तसोदृत्य गोप्या
यशोदाभियोलुखलाघवमानम् परामृष्टभ्रात्यन्तसोदृत्य गोप्या
रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रयुग्मं मृजन्तम् राम्भुजयुग्मेन सातङ्कनेत्रम्
रुदन्तमुहुर्नेत्रयुग्ममृगन्तम् कराम्भुजयुग्मेन सातङ्कनेत्रम्
मोहश्वासकम्पातिरेखाङ्ककण्ठा दामोदरं भक्तिबद्धम्
मुहुर्श्वासकम्पातिरेखाककण्ठा दामोदरं भक्तिबद्धम्
दिग्स्वलीलाभिरानन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम्
इति दृक्स्वलीलाभिरानन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषमीमाञ्जन्तमाख्यापयन्तम्
तदीयशितागेषु भक्तजितत्वम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं शताव्रति वन्दे
तदीयशीतागेषु भक्तजितत्वा पुनः प्रेमतस्तं शतावृत्ति वन्दे
वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षवधिं वा चान्यं वनेहं वरिषादपीह
परं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षवधिं वा न चान्यं वेनेहं वारेषदपीह
इदं देवपुरनाथ गोपालबालम् तामे मनस्य विरास्तं किमन्ये
इदं ते वापुरनाथ गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्य विरास्तं किमन्ये
इदं
मुखं
भोजमत्यन्तनीले धृतां कुण्डलै स्निग्धरक्तशुभोप्या
इदं ते मुखं भोजमत्यन्तनीले धृतं कुन्तले स्निग्धवक्रश्चगोप्या
शुम्बितं बिम्बसाधरं मे मनस्य विरास्तामलं लक्ष्यलाभे
मुहुष्टुम्बितं बिम्बरक्तधरं मे मनस्य विरास्तामलं लक्ष्यलाभे
नमो देव दामोदरानन्त विष्णो प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलाब्धिमग्नम्
नमो देव दामोदरानंत विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख ज्वालभिमग्नम्
कृपा दृष्टि दिगम्बतानु गेहानिशमामद्यं एध्यक्षिदृश्या
कृपा दृष्टि वृष्ट्यादिदीनं बतानु गृहाणि श्रमामग्रमे दक्षिदृश्या
कुबेरात्मजो भद्रमूर्तेर्वयाद्वत् स्वयमुचितो भक्तिभाजो कृतौ च
कुबेरात्मजो बाधमुत्पयद्वासा त्वयामुचितो भक्तिभाजकृतो च
श्रीमद्भक्तयाक्षा नमो क्षेग्रहो मे श्रीदामोदरेहा
तथा प्रेमा भक्तिं सकामे प्रयच्छ नमो क्षेग्रहो मे श्रीदामोदरेह
नमस्ते सुदाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायाथ विश्वस्य धाम्ने
नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिधाम्ने तदीयोदरायाथ विश्वस्य धाम्ने
प्रियाय नमोऽनन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्
नमो राधिकाये त्वदीयप्रियाये नमोऽनन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे
हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Yashoda Damodar Yashoda Damodar Radhe Jaya Yashoda Damodar Yashoda Damodar Radhe Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Sri Sri Damodarashtakam ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Damodar Bhagavan ki Jai. Anavita Bhakta Vrind ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much, Ankur Prabhu, Shraddha Mataji family. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much for so melodious, so heartfelt prayers to Lord Damodar. Thank you very much. And we really pray at the lotus feet of Radha Madhav, Panchatattva, and Lord Narsimhadev to shower your family with the choicest blessings so that you progress nicely and you continue to shower this melodious prayers at the lotus feet of the Lord. We are very thankful to you for joining us and sharing this beautiful prayer. Thank you very much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna, and I would like to thank all the devotees as well for joining. And we wish all of you a very nice Damodar Brata that you have been continuing for so many days. So please continue in chanting the holy names of the Lord as much as possible, and then offering lamps to the Lord every day, offering water to Tulasi, and offering Tulasi to the Supreme Lord. And yes, sharing this knowledge and sharing this process also with as many souls as possible so that they can also get benefited with the supreme knowledge and take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and take this process seriously. And yes, tomorrow, as we said, is the auspicious day when this our divine Acharya Srila Prabhupada left. And yes, as a matter of gratitude, we can take some commitment and to please him for the pleasure of him, so that how we can really be serious in this process of Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to all our facilitators as well for joining.